First, though, Political Editor Andrew Clennell has done his first visit for Sky News 2025 election door-knocking series. Andrew's in Parramatta today. It was won by Andrew Charlton in 2022. Let's go live to Andrew Clennell in the suburb of Pendle Hill in Parramatta. Andrew, what have you heard today?
Well, Kieran, I think the polls are showing the election's kind of turned, and that's what our door knock appears to indicate as well. I think it's fair to say that a few weeks ago, Andrew Charlton was out door knocking and not hearing great things about the government or the Prime Minister. Today, it wasn't so bad at all, and there were only bad words for Peter Dutton, Donald Trump comparisons. And when he pushed the urgent care clinics, that's what really got people's imagination. A lot of sort of mums and dads out there who've been stuck in the emergency department all night. So you can see why Anthony Albanese is campaigning when it comes to health. But what really blew me away, Kieran, was the amount of people who were working from home. And I've been doing these door knocks for a few years now. I think I did them as a print journo as late back as 2007. And it used to be the case you'd get 3 out of 10 people occupied houses in the middle of the day, or early in the day as we were. This has flipped completely. It's now 7 out of 10, a lot of women working from home. So you can see why Peter Dutton's made the reversal he has. Even if his policy only related to federal public servants, you could see how it would concern people in the community who do like and embrace work from home. It's like we're too far down that route already. That is certainly what I saw. And interestingly, Kieran, nothing on the tax cut of the government or the fuel excise promise of the opposition. Andrew Charlton wasn't even out there selling those tax cuts. It's all about health and his efforts to replace a Woolies supermarket here with an IGA store. That's been successful. He's selling it, but a few comments on the doors about, well, IGA is pretty expensive, isn't it? Andrew Charlton saying, well, there's a $3 carton of milk at this store. Let's have a listen now to 2 of the people we door knocked, Anita and Shigan, and one of them spoke about Peter Dutton and compared him to Donald Trump, and Anita was concerned about any sort of change to work from home. Do you work from home?
Yeah, I do. I go 3 days to office, and then the rest of the 2 days I work.
Did you hear Peter Dutton wanted to make public servants go into the office, but he's now reversed that policy? Have you heard anything about that?
So I'm a mum. I could take care of my kids. I've got 2 kids. So pick up, drop off, and whenever they are sick, it works much better when I'm working from home. Otherwise, it's too much of a stress on parent. If they allow us to work from home, that's really convenient.
We don't want another Trump, so that's what we don't want Peter Dutton back.
Why do you liken Peter Dutton to Donald Trump?
Why do I like?
Why do you compare him to Donald Trump?
His attitude. And then the way he marching towards to, every time, he's trying to echo, what Trump says. Say for him, especially with migrants, then he's more like Trump.
The migration issue cut both ways, it had to be said, Kieran. There were also concerns put to Andrew Charlton about how the Labor government had let in so many people in such a short space of time. But concerns from migrants here, and 20% of the seat is Indian Australians, about Mr Dutton's stance on migration as well. Andrew Charlton has door-knocked 10,000 homes. He's done the work here. He's got some name recognition. It looks pretty safe for Labor, this particular seat. But what was of interest to me, I guess, is that the Labor message appears to be winning well at the moment over the Peter Dutton message, Kieran, and that was not the case 1 to 2 months ago. And we'll have more on this door knock today on Politics Now at 4 p.m.
Andrew, before you go, I just want to get your further reflections on the backflip from Peter Dutton. Looking back from my experience, I'm just trying to think of something comparable where it was such a sort of jolt or shift of gear in the middle of a campaign. I think back to Real Julia, that effort by Julia Gillard to say, OK, now you're going to see the real Julia mid-campaign. It wasn't policy, but it was a recognition things weren't going right. How do you reflect on this move by Mr Dutton?
Well, that's as close as I get, and I hadn't even thought of it, but that's probably as close as I can get because I can't remember it on such a key policy. And I think what I've learnt today, Kieran, is that if all Peter Dutton's candidates are going out there door knocking and they're meeting so many people who work from home, they must be jumping up and down saying, what are you doing? And my understanding is that Jane Hume is very much the architect of this and that there were always hairs on it because the EBAs for the public service, you need to change all of them to get the public servants to work from home anyway. So I just think it was a pretty ham-fisted policy. And to see that he's been forced in that position shows how much it was hurting out there. And I think I've seen evidence of that today. Now, in terms of a campaign stumbling a little bit like this, it's not at these levels quite yet. But I am reminded of the 2007 election campaign in New South Wales involving Peter Dutton versus Maurice Yemmer. Maurice Yemmer came into that election looking pretty uninspiring. Peter Dutton had a plan to cut 29,000 New South Wales public servants. And he eventually ended up saying it will be by attrition, exactly what Peter Dutton had done. And like nuclear energy is a controversial policy, Peter Dutton was in water wars then with the government wanted a desalination plant and he wanted recycled water. I can draw some comparisons here to an opposition leader coming into a campaign. I don't think Peter Dutton's as worse off as Peter Dutton, don't get me wrong there, with some policies without the sort of meat behind them and a government going full on attack on the personal and on the policy front and getting on top. Long way to go. Big night tomorrow night in this very seat for the People's Forum for Peter Dutton, but he definitely needs to win that one, Kieran.